Before I get to Venezuela, it's important, I think, that I address the last thing that Elvis just mentioned.
On the LGBT.
On the LGBT. You know, evil triumphs when good men fail to stand up. Because of LGBT and the money, you are willing to tell President Mahama not to sign so that all the vices.
No, I didn't say coming. No, okay. I say she should. I did not say that. I'm saying that the threat the economy is when he signs.
Good.
Because these are the implications.
So
I support the signing of the law.
Good.
I'm only pointing out the economic implications.
I understand.
I didn't say you shouldn't
I understand.
sign. So if you say I shouldn't sign, I didn't say that.
Thank you for the correction of this. So you are somehow cautioning. Yeah, because you're talking about implications. You're not advising. You're cautioning. That should we, I'm coming. Let me land.
I support the signing. Even when Akufo-Addo said he won't sign, I said it's a mistake.
Very good.
He should sign. I said any president of Ghana should sign that law.
So let me continue my tangent. I get you. I think our viewers know where you stand. I think you're standing on the same podium as I am. You've clarified it for me. I'll be very brief and I'll come back to Venezuela. This is important. This is the future of our country and our nations. If we allow, because of our fear of the monetary or financial consequences,
which are very real,
I'm coming from donor countries.
Yeah.
So therefore, we should allow and open our society, our children, to something that is so is an anathema to the human person. There are countries that have never taken a loan from the IMF. One I can mention is Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Go and see Ethiopia today. So when we have this dichotomy, that unless I kowtow, succumb to something I know is inherently evil, so let me somehow manage what I know is wrong with financial benefit or consequences, then where are we? Where are we going as a nation? We need to stand up. I was so disappointed that then President Akufo-Addo didn't sign the bill. So disappointed. What are we doing as a nation? Would you allow your daughter to go and marry a rapist, a murderer, because of some financial, or if he doesn't marry him, those small chops that we are getting from him, knowing well what he is? Charlie, let our daughter go marry him. We know he's a murderer, he's a robber, he's a rapist. But Charlie, we're getting some, knock off you. Come on. So anyway, I just wanted to make that point there. Coming now to Venezuela. This is not the first time that it has happened. Firstly, it may surprise some people, but I support what has happened. I understand the reason that so many other countries have condemned the invasion, and you should. The fact that we don't have a bloc doesn't mean we don't have a voice. What kind of politics are we doing? I don't have a bloc, so let me keep quiet. When Nkrumah and the UGCC started and ushering this independence we are now enjoying, which ignited independence across the African continent, did they have a bloc? Did they have a bloc?
No, they did not.
They didn't have a bloc.
No.
So hell with a bloc, make sure that your principles define who you are. The only bloc we have is Allah, God Almighty. Once you have God, forget the blocks that Elvis was alluding to. Now, he may be talking about realpolitik. I understand that. In politics, you have to... I studied history, and there is an element of political history which we call realpolitik. It's the real politics, and you have to measure your actions and inactions within that ecosystem. So I fully understand. It's not everything you say or voice out. Sometimes you've got to do it behind the scenes.
True.
Do you know when a lion cub becomes a lion? After he's 6 months old. 6 months. Oh, sorry, 3 years. Sorry, 3 years. That's when a lion cub becomes a fully grown lion. 3 years. Up until his 3 years, that's 36 months, baboons and monkeys and hyenas can be beating him up. He doesn't fight them. He waits till he becomes a king of the jungle. He says, Enche, 3 years, 36 months. I'll show you guys who I am. But up until his 3 years, that lion cub is beaten about and slapped by monkeys and hyenas and baboons. So I understand Elvis's point. It's important that you measure when you speak and how you speak till you're strong enough. But until now, sometimes we have to determine, and I'm using about Venezuela now, I applaud and support all the nations who have condemned this. Because if you don't, at what point will it end? Those Africans who did not stand up to the colonialists when they came in with the bond of 1888 and all those maneuverings to capture Africa, Asia, China, when it had the Opium Wars, Hong Kong under Perry Como, 159-year lease. The British said, this belongs to us. So, you know, what's the difference? They took Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So we have to stand up now. Though I support the invasion, why do I support the invasion? Because Maduro is reaping the consequences of what he did. He clearly lost the election. He lost it. Now somebody said, but Ibrahim, you're only getting your source from, you know, the international news outlets. But, you know, thankfully today we are so much connected. When you go at the time, in terms of social media posts by Venezuelans, you saw that Maduro had lost the election. So I'm very happy, personally, that he's gone, because ultimately, you don't want democracy for its sake, but that it has a proper impact and speaks to the will of the people on the ground. And the will of the people was curtailed at the last election, so-called election that Maduro orchestrated. So am I happy he's gone? The answer is yes. The manner in which he's gone, no. Because again, you have to deal with the real politics. But I'm happy that he's gone. You remember 2 weeks ago, I said the same thing about ECOWAS. When there is a military coup, you ECOWAS leaders are quick to condemn it. But when you, the same ECOWAS leaders, do your military coup by the paper, extending term limits, manipulating the constitution. You keep quiet. So why should I be duplicitous? If I'm saying that I'm support interventions in African states, I'm using ECOWAS, who clearly have manipulated the constitution and the ballot box and the election. Why should I say I'm now not, and I'm supporting military intervention? Was it not a military intervention that took out Talon, Benin?
Yeah, Benin?
Yes.
Yeah.
So why should I say I'm in support of military intervention when clearly there's been a corruption of the process, the electoral process, and then when it comes to South America, I say I'm not in favor. I'm happy that President Trump has done so. But the way and manner, sometimes when you garner a coalition of the willing.
Could Trump and the U.S. have put enough pressure on Maduro to abdicate the seat instead of going in there to capture him in the way and manner they did? Because it looks like that is where the challenge is, where there's a breach of the UN Charter, international laws, territorial, political democracy, the sovereignty of the state.
Well, the answer is yes and no, and I'll give you the yes and no. It's a long game. America right now, in terms of its petrol dollars, its petrol reserves is down. You know, and right now, Elvis mentioned, and you mentioned in that before, that indeed Venezuela was now pricing its oil in yuan and the fledgling BRICS currency that's coming, and the euro. Now that is an existential threat to America. The world economy is based on the petrodollar. Okay, and it's been using up its reserves. Okay, America has over 25 years worth of reserves. I'm talking years worth of supplying its own citizens, domestic supply. Okay, I think the Yucatan, what do you call it, mountains, because there, you know, oil is sulfurous, you know, and they store the crude in those mountains there. So they have 25 years. They learned the lesson from the oil crisis in the 70s. But that is now depleting. And you have Venezuela, who has more oil reserves than Saudi Arabia and Iran and another country put together. I think we all read the news feed.
It has about 300 billion.
Yes. It has more gold than Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa. So it's the waiting game. It didn't want the pressure on the petrodollar to continue. given the way in which it was now cozying up with China and Russia. And it decided to act.
Yeah.
So it's not about waiting. But this is not the first time. Let me read something here. 1954, Jacobo Arbenz, president of Guatemala, CIA orchestrated his removal through invasion. Again, 10 years later, 1964, Yao Goulart, president of Brazil. You had a U.S. naval and logistical support for a military coup. I won't go too long, just a couple more. Salvador Allende, most people know him, Chile.
Yeah.
1973, CIA funded the opposition, supported Pinochet's coup, and removed him. Isabel Perón, Argentina.
Yeah.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. I think we know the song. Again, 1976, what happened? The U.S. signaled a green flag for the military junta coup. Manuel Noriega, we all know him.
Yeah.
1989, Panama.
Panama. Yeah.
Somebody with the sovereign right saying this is the Panama Canal is ours, we'll regulate it. They took him out on drugs charges. And then, of course, we have 2026, Nicolas Maduro. So the waiting game is never an issue. It's just that maybe Trump has expedited the outcome. They've done it in the past. And don't think that they've only done it to...
But I didn't talk about Libya.
Maybe you should.
I'm coming.
Maybe you should bring it
I'm
home.
coming.
Talk about Iraq. Talk about Libya.
I'm coming. If you know that I do my work, I do my research.
Bring it
because
home. Bring it
here
close
you
to
have.
home.
Here it is. Patrice Lumumba, DR Congo,
Yeah.
1961, authorized assassination. I didn't do it in vacuum. Nelson Mandela, South Africa. When Nelson Mandela was escaping the apartheid regime, they gave the intelligence. America gave the Pretoria capital intelligence that where he was, how he's dressed, and they arrested him dressed as a chauffeur. Then it comes to Kwame Nkrumah here in Ghana, 1966. They backed the military. When I say they, I'm talking about America.
CIA.
They backed the military to remove him. Okay? Come down to Burkina Faso. Okay? Thomas Sankara, 1987.
Yeah.
They were complicit. And I can go on, and if I do that, I won't have time to talk. Do you get me?
Very well.
So I didn't look at South America. You preempted what I was about to say. Across the world, America has terrorized states. They have. What is terror? To be in fear. That's what it means, to be in fear. We talk about these countries being banana republics, but look at, some people will tell you that it goes down to the Cold War politics, the non-aligned movement that Elvis mentioned. But you know, the Monroe Doctrine, which talked about why America wanted to ensure that the Western Hemisphere, its backyard, no longer had European influence. Now, the person who drafted the Monroe Doctrine, it was under President Monroe, okay? But the person who drafted it was his Secretary of State, John Quincy Adams. He was a Unitarian. He doesn't believe in the Trinity. You know, he's like monotheistic, like Muslims. He's a Unitarian, and he drafted the Monroe Doctrine specifically as a framework for America to resist any form of colonial expansion within the Americas. That America is the sole power in the region. His father was John Adams. John Adams is who? John Adams was the second president of the United States of America. So look at that. I'm giving you from 1821. This thing didn't happen post the Cold War. This agenda is over 200 years old, where America saw a long vision and said, no, we don't want Europeans here and within our area in terms of their hegemony, the resources. And so whenever you have clearly a leftist regime, America doesn't want to do business with you. And unless the Americans, I'm talking Americans, come together, okay, there's no way in which they will succeed. I wanted to ask something here, but I think it's important because sometimes we have to speak
real quick, so we can
very quickly. Yeah, we have to speak to our brothers and sisters in South America in a way that they can understand. Gemini, are you there? I want to see if it's there. It's a quick question. Gemini, are you there? I'm praying it answers quickly.
Well,
it's not picking. But anyway,
let's move on.
What I wanted to do in Spanish for Gemini to speak to our brothers and sisters within South America. And for them to understand that until and unless they unite politically and economically, they will forever have third parties or third forces coming to manipulate their sovereignty, their independence, and their economy. That's what I wanted Gemini to say in Spanish, just so that it hits home more than the English. Submission that I'm given. You know. So to conclude, I'm happy that Maduro has gone, because the interests of the people should be what motivates my submission here.
Right.
Elvis mentioned it. You know, you had Jamal Khashoggi, murdered by Saudi Arabia, and America is going to put its interests on one person compared to the $500 billion contract. I understand that. Likewise, I'm nowhere going to support Maduro when you have over millions of Venezuelans suffering under his regime. But we have to speak up, because the time will come when it's you, whichever country we're talking about, the time will come when it's you. The CIA...
Your point about the suffering of millions is a critical one, highlighting...
Gemini, are you there? Very quickly. Gemini, listen. Gemini, I want you to say this in Spanish. She's gone. I'll leave it. It's very important. Greece, a European country, had its leadership removed because it was leftist and against American interests. So it's not purely in terms of Latin America and Africa. But behind the scenes, the CIA and the American administration, Elvis alluded to it, WikiLeaks. When you see and read the Panama Papers, what they've been doing throughout the last century or so, I'm talking America, it should open up our eyes and our ears that there is currency in us making sure that we work together. And this is a lesson for us in Africa in the last 10 seconds. Until and unless we Africans, with determined ambition, unite, we'll continue to face these extrajudicial and third-party forces on our economies. And it's incumbent upon us, we are the ambassadors, or it's our watch now as leaders today, to really make a determined effort for Africa. Instead of hugging our small economies, that doesn't take us anywhere. Put our resources, both economically and politically, together to make sure that we have what? A United States of Africa. That day, God will, inshallah, will come. But until we do that, we'll be fragmented and we'll never really enjoy the freedom that is our God-given right.
Right. Very well.